Okay, so we just went through the lesson plan format that you are expected to work on today. Your goal for today is to get this worksheet front and back completed by the end of the class period. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, and I want you to use pencil because you may be erasing, but I cannot emphasize enough how you need to really think through. Again, think of it like a story. Like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, kind of like your lesson. There's going to be a beginning, that's where you're grabbing their attention, the middle where you're teaching them and they're practicing, and the end is where you're assessing, you're making sure they understand, okay? But again, you have to really think through every single step so before you actually teach your lesson, because you don't want to get up to teach this lesson and you really don't know what you're doing. So if you have planned every single minute of your 20 minutes, it should go very, very smoothly, okay? So today's goal is to finish this sheet, okay? Then, next class, we are going to take that sheet and you're going to then type up a lesson plan. One of you can start typing and the other can be working on other portions of the project, okay? But I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to have this example on our Google Classroom, so you probably want to read through it. I don't want to read through the whole thing, but this is what a lesson plan should look like, okay? You're going to see where we've got all the same exact information that is on that sheet that I will have you fill out today. You can also see how a TEK is written on here. You can see right below the TEK is the objective. The students will be able to identify the causes of the American Revolution and analyze why the colonists felt the need to become an independent country separate of England. By the end of the lesson, she wanted to make sure the students understood the causes of the American Revolution, okay? And for this particular lesson, she wanted 20 to 25 minutes. That's how much time she needed. Here's her anticipatory set. This is how she's going to grab their attention. I will tell you, let me go ahead and read this just real quick because she always had really good lessons. But she says, begin class by giving each student some paper money. Tell the class to get on one side of the room. Tell them that they need a special piece of paper from the front, but it will cost them $100 of their paper money. And if they do not get the paper from the front, they will be then assigned to ISS. Also tell them that due to budget cuts, in order for their education, they will need to give half of their remaining money to you. Also appoint a new class officer, then fire the old one just because you feel like it. After all of these stipulations are placed, ask the students if they like the new class policies that have been instituted. Then tell students that, like in class today, the colonists were angered by the unfair laws placed on them by the British government. Inform the students that they are going to discover why America felt the need to revolt from Britain. So this is how she's grasping her students' attention to start kind of putting them in a scenario that was like what they dealt with back in that time. So that's just an example. Now, you don't have to do with this right here. See how this says bodily, kinesthetic, visual, spatial? These are multiple intelligences. But what I do want you to do, and what I will remind you next class, but I want you to be thinking about it today when you're filling out your paper, is I will want you to write like verbal or auditory or kinesthetic. I'm wanting you to indicate on your lesson plan where you are using the different learning styles, okay? So that way we know that you're using at least one of each. Anyway, so there you'll also see when she types up her lesson plan that she's got bullet points. But again, we'll get to this next class. Hers is very, very detailed, which is great. That's what I want. But anyway, so that's an example of that. I will get more into that next class. So here is our groups, okay? Let me get back over to this page. Here is where everybody will be assigned. I will have this on our Google Classroom. You can see who you are with. I did try my very hardest to try to get everybody with someone that they requested. Didn't work out perfectly, but it's pretty close. And so I think it'll work pretty good. So hopefully everybody is with someone they will work well with. So that's who you're going to be with. Again, this list will be on the Google Classroom. Here is our timeline. So today we're discussing your lesson planning and your project, and you're going to start lesson planning. You are planning the lesson that you and your partner are teaching starting in a few class periods. Next class, you're going to take that lesson plan and you're going to type it like the one I just showed you. You're also going to work on additional materials. Maybe you're going to need to put together a worksheet. Any worksheet or anything like that will need, you're going to have to be responsible for copies. I can't make copies for everyone. So you may want to not do copies. You may not want to do a worksheet. You may want to do something they're going to write on their own. So think about that. Any any copies that are going to be needed, any worksheets, you have to get those and you have to bring those, okay? And then on, I guess this is on Monday or Tuesday next week, you're going to finish working on your lesson plan and any additional materials. So you have all of today, you have next class, and then you have the next class. You will turn everything in on the 27th. You're going to submit your lesson plan, any kind of worksheets, all that needs to be done. Everything has to be done. So keep that in mind. Everything has to be turned in, paper clipped, whatever, turned in. On the 29th, what I'm going to do, you'll see we have 3 days to teach lessons. I am going to draw names. So you have to be ready. You got to be ready to go at any time. Okay. We're not going to sign up for a spot or anything like that. Everybody will have to be ready. Okay. So that is our timeline for this. You can see what we've got for that. Today, like I was mentioning, you're going to get with your partner. You're going to decide on a grade level and your subject that you're going to teach. Then you're going to go to the TEKS. You're going to pick one. I wouldn't spend too much time stressing about it, but maybe pick a TEK where you feel like might be kind of easy to teach. Maybe you can think of a lot of ideas for it. That might be a good idea. And you're going to fill out the worksheet that I just showed you a minute ago. You're going to fill out this worksheet. And you're going to make sure that you are very, very detailed. You include how much time is needed for each thing. You might want to include also if it's a visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or tactile, because you're going to have to include that on your lesson plan. So that's it. That is what you are working on today. I'm going to see if there's anything else. I don't think so. All of these things are going to be on our Google Classroom so that you can refer to them. Hopefully that answers your questions. So what I want you to do now, as soon as your partner is done listening to this video, then y'all can sit next to each other. And I do not want anybody to be distracted by anybody else. You really want to focus because you have a lot to do today on that sheet. Again, this worksheet that you're doing today should take the entire class period to fill out. Okay, and the two of you need to work together to collaborate, to come up with ideas. You can go online and search for ideas. Pinterest is a great resource, although you may not be able to get on that at school. But go search for ideas. You can steal ideas online. I'm totally okay with that. But then, of course, personalize them and make them yours. I want you to have fun with this. We are super excited to see what you come up with. So good luck, and I will see y'all next class.